Since you brought up David Hawkins, and you mentioned before that, you have mentioned that what men are actually lacking is pride. I just want to just bring those two together because, as I understand Hawkins in his books, he talks about the levels of awareness, and so courage is right there at the middle, where the negative energy transforms into positive energy, but pride is right below that point. So, how do you reconcile that pride is a necessary thing but at the same moment, I mean, it's also still in the negative. So, should we really foster pride in men, or or are we maybe talking about a different concept?
I think that's a great question. When I look at that chart of the levels of consciousness, I studied that for a while. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense because if we transcend love, are we not going to be in love anymore, or and or are we not going to have courage anymore? And what I arrived at, my conclusion is that the level we're at is the level we live at. It's where our home is, but we're still visiting these other levels or these emotions or these states, right? And so pride is a beneficial state, and it's actually that transition point. It's right before the transition between courage. So I don't think we should live at pride. Obviously, pride is still better than a lot of the
Yeah,
lower
a
ones
lot.
of guilt and shame and anger and desire. But we shouldn't live there. That shouldn't be our home. If we lived at pride, then that would be the only thing that's important to us. That's all the way that we're operating. That's driving us. I really see it as those levels as what is the thing that is fundamentally driving you, right? So, for
Yeah.
example, at the lowest level, at shame at 20, shame is driving you, right? At the higher levels, at love is, what's that, like 600, or yeah, 600, because reason is 500. But then that's your driving force. And so even when you're at that level of love or above that level, you still have pride in masculinity and in being a man, but it's not the driving thing. The main thing that's the undercurrent, and I think this is important for all men, is that I think the greatest gift that a man can give to this world is love. That's truly the hallmark of masculinity. Even if you go back to religious texts, right? If we look at Jesus, right? Regardless of your religion, Jesus is admired for one main thing, which is that he said that the greatest love that a man can give is to lay down his life for his friends. And so Jesus as a man, as the perfection of man and God together, what is the main thing that he does? His main thing is a sacrifice of love. And so I think that is truly where we should be aspiring to be. But I do think that these other things still exist. We just can't make them our home.